Okay, so we're gonna be kicking this off with the fact that all the guys are in Gem Spita. I could be saying that wrong, but it is a neutral place for all the gods. So if you really want to think about it as the place where we saw all the gods in Thor, Love, and Thunder. And we saw all the many different gods. But the one god to me that stood out was Amadioa. And that god is a Igbo god or Igbo god. I could be saying it wrong, but the Igbo god of thunder. It's the storm god. So it's really amazing that I've said it before about Yoruba mythology with the Orishas, but the other part of that is the Igbo. Their gods are also getting some love, and I'm enjoying that. And it is stated that all gods are under one roof to discuss the fate of one mortal, with Zeus saying, Aurora Monroe, the mutant, the self proclaimed storm god of Earth. Now, Zeus is just recently resurrected. And if you want to know, y'all could go ahead and see Thor book that's been going out with his resurrection. And he asked them, what is the verdict? But we don't know what the verdict is. They don't tell us or anything. And so we then go back to the Burka forest where Jaden is sitting in the corner, scared and crying, while Bishop tells her that he's going to go save Galactus from the FBI agents, which I think is insane because you could see that the FBI agents have some kind of mosquito or something draining this energy. And the fact that Bishop is out here saying he about to save the Devour Worlds is crazy. And then we get a little monologue about Storm where it says, as a child, Aurora Monroe was expressive, mischievous even then. She wore her heart on her sleeve, but as an adult, she often stoic, seen as the epitome of self-control. The trauma of losing her parents did not starch her foundation of feelings. No, none of her suffering and labors did. Everything changed when her mutant abilities manifested. On that day, our planet felt so small, so delicate, so fragile. Her whims could send the world over the edge of oblivion to total annihilation. So she treads carefully, like a titan on a bridge of sawdust. She averts her access to some of her more terrifying powers. But as infinity stands before her, Storm unleashes all she ever held back. The floodgates of self-control have been demolished, and a fury crashes out. Tectonic plates grind each other, trimming the earth. With a deafening roar, Storm spews blue blazes of her wrath, knowing no bounds. Suddenly, the infinite feels very finite. And the reason why Storm is crashing out is because she has been through a lot. And this really surprised me because she is beating the brakes off of Infinity, who personally I thought was no match. She was no match for. I thought Infinity was about to beat the dog crap out of Storm, but I was wrong. Storm flipped it on her head and unleashed her fury, and this is like, wow. And Storm says that I am Aurora Monroe, descendant of Ashaki. I share blood with Agamotto, the first sorcerer supreme. My roots run deep, far back to Ashtar, the elder god. All elements are mine to command. I am a goddess. Your brother, Eternity, possessed my body against my will, piloted me until I gave out, made me watch with my own eyes while he decimated my loved ones with my abilities. He made me a pawn in his games, a student of his cruel, idiotic lessons. Tragedy and poverty shredded the clothes in my back into rags. Even then, I would not give in. On the streets of Cairo, when an empty belly pushed me to put aside the morals taught to me by my parents, I trekked back to my mother's village in Kenya till my feet scabbed over. I chose 2,000 miles of treacherous uncertainty rather than remain a pickpocket. I am not a goddess because I hold great power. I am a goddess because nothing and no one controls me. Man, Storm is really crashing out right now. But if you notice, is that her lightning isn't blue. It's like this pinkish color to it. And I don't know if that's her unleashing her full power, or is it that she's unconsciously adding some magic to the lightning. We don't know that. But Infinity wants to die because she can barely hold it together without eternity. She then questions, is this what oblivion and death endure for all those eons? But Galactus is the one that got Storm to her senses because he tells her that nothing controls her now, but you let your emotions hold sway over you far more than any abstract entity is capable of. Storm snaps out of it when she sees that Galactus has Jaden, and Jaden tells Storm enough lives have been lost today. And she's talking about how Manifold and Maggot have been out of action right now. But we then go back to the Gem Spita, where Zeus posed a question about all those who want to help Storm protect the universe need to raise their hand. But the only person that has done that was Beta Ray Bill. And Beta Ray Bill is filling in for Thor because what's going on with Thor is that people have forgotten about the Asgardian gods. So that's why he's there. But Zeus then posted the next question, who is in favor of helping Hadad to get his revenge? And all the guys raised their hands to help Hadad. And Beta Ray Bills called this out. And I don't blame him for calling this out because he's like, why are y'all out here choosing Hadad? And he even says that Susanoo claimed his legendary sword, Kusanagi no Suguri, from the tail of the ferocious eight-headed serpent Yamato no Orochi. Zeus felled the terrible Typhon as Indra vanquished Vidra. Beta Ray Bill is saying that all the Thunder Gods have fought Leviathans once in their life because the universe had made them their mortal enemies. And their purpose is to fight beings like Oblivion, not align themselves with people like Hadad. But as you can see, as the saying goes, the gods are cruel and petty because they live so long and they became devoid of emotions. And they are really upset that Eternity chose Storm to be his champion instead of them. And they're talking about how much that pressure and heat that they can do. They have so much power, yet he's choosing her. The Storm Gods is to fight along Hadad to tear down the universe so they could create a new age of gods, probably, because the superheroes have now taken the place of the mythological gods in Marvel. But Beta Ray Bill's not having that, so he calls Stormbreaker, and he tells Susanoo that he will break his face because he's clearly frustrated with the Storm Gods right now. And I think he should be because they are deliberately putting the universe at risk for their own petty goals. But while the Storm Gods of our universe argue over which side of the Thunder War they're going to join, the Black Winters make the choice for them. Mama Graham had to literally cut off Susanoo's arm to prevent the spread of the Black Winter's rotten effect. But it continues with, for in the Thunder War, there is only Hadad's side and the side of piles of corpse. Hadad is no widow maker. Hadad is no orphan maker. When Hadad steps into our universe, everyone dies. So they end up switching the scene because this dude is on his way after going to the Gem Spita. We went back to the Marvel Universe, or the superhero version of medical hospital. And Galactus is sitting and waiting at the hospital, which is funny because no one expects Galactus to do that, the devourer of worlds. But as we see, Maggot is dead, because he got the tag on it because he got his head cut off. But to me, Maggot is now considered Omega level mutant, and he ate that little kaiju for 3 days. So I think at some point he's going to be able to regenerate. But I could be wrong, but I think he's going to be able to regenerate. I'm calling that now. But Manifold is in critical condition, and they're doing everything they can to save him. The Storm is starting to apologize to Gateway because she has been doing everything herself for the most part of this series. Now, she did accept some help for someone like Dr. Voodoo or whatever, so she did kind of accept that. But everything else she's done alone, and she's at a point where she was thirsting for revenge, and in that process, she felt like she let all the people that she loved down. But Gateway just tells Storm that the present shapes the future as much as the past shapes the present. That's some cold words right there. He then touches her forehead, and I don't know what he did to Storm. I really don't. But I would assume either he awakened her magic powers or he gave her some more powers. Who knows? But then we switch to the House of Ideas, which honestly is just the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Universe or Marvel Comics in general. I don't know. Maybe we could do a separate video on that. But Eternity is here to discuss the fate of the world to the one of above all, his father, who is, as you can see, really massive. And he wants to make a bargain with him for the fate of the universe. And that's when we go back and we see that the Silver Surfer suit is discussing what's going on with the universe. And because Oblivion is dead, Hadad killed him. Eternity has abandoned our universe. Death is death. And her ways have always been beyond our comprehension, which he is not wrong, because death isn't inherently evil, but she does everything she can to create death. She likes death, which is why she was always using Thanos in the first place, because he was someone that was like an agent of death, like an avatar for it. But he continues to explain that Hadad splinters our forces with the Black Winters, forcing the Phoenix to return home to defend the Forge of Creation and the mutant civilization she houses within it. The Scarlet Witch and her patron entity, the Never Queen, defend the land of possibilities to keep magic and creativity alive. Galactus and I will help Infinity and our avatar, Quasar, repel the Black Winters for as long as we can, while you summon all the courage and strength you can muster to face the storm god Hadad alone. And that is how the chapter ends. I gotta say that Storm surprised me. It is over. When people say who's stronger, Storm or Jean Grey, let's be real, it's Storm. Because she is clearly on par with the other Storm gods. So, I mean, let me know in the comment section below, were you surprised about Storm beating on Infinity? Because I sure was. But let me know. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out, y'all.